Before I do any kind of polishing or what have you on any instrument, I'd like to just take some more Music Nomad number the guitar one gloss finish, just like a cleaner polisher. Spray a little on a rag and just give the guitar a wipe down, just to get the your finger marks and any dust and stuff off, because you don't want to be running any cut cleaning, like cleaners that'll cut or polish. If the guitar is dirty, you're just going to be creating more problems for yourself. You want a nice clean surface, so just give it a quick wipe down. Just getting around the pick guard, the pickups, just removing all the loose stuff. For this guitar, I'm not going to change any of the setup stuff. I'm going to leave the bridge in a kind of a hardtail position, so he can still use the whammy bar down, but it won't be a floating trem. Probably do that in a different video. I may have to make some small adjustments to some of these screws once we're all done, but I'm putting the same gauge strings on, so I mean it's probably going to be a minor setup on it. Things should all fall back into place, but we will see when we get there. Okay, so we'll take a look at that blemish. I'm just going to swing the guitar to this side of the bench. Let me just reposition this camera a little bit here. Okay, so that blemish, this will show up right where my thumb is there. Not sure if that's showing up, but I've already tried to wipe it just with this Music Nomad and a rag, and it didn't take it off. So it looks like it's just a scuff. So we should be able to polish that out. I was looking over the guitar, and as far as that scuff mark, we're going to try and remove. I think I'm going to try using the Meguiar's Mirror Glaze 205. It's more of a finishing polish than deep cut abrasive. I think it'll work. Again, the guitar's in such good shape. There's no reason to start cutting it any more than we have to as far as abrasives go. So we'll try the Meguiar's 205 first. I'm pretty sure that's going to remove that scuff mark, but we'll give it a shot. If not, we can move back and revisit it. I'm going to hold the guitar up here like this. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to try it by hand first, just to see if I can remove that little mark. No, I guess we'll have to move up to something a little more abrasive than that. Okay, no big deal. Well, let's go grab something else. Okay, so I ended up going to a heavier cut compound, the Meguiar's Mirror Glaze 105 Ultra Cut. It's heavier abrasive than the previous one we tried. I forgot to record it, sorry. I was using my rags. It wasn't quite getting the job done, so I used a buffing pad, which was a coarse buffing pad. Sorry, I can't hold two things at once here. This guy here. And a couple of passes, it removed that blemish mark. Not sure if it shows up in the camera there, but yeah, it looks like it's gone. So I just had to use a heavier cut. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move back to the 205 and polish that in. And then I'll just give the rest of this area a once over with the 205. I've done the whole guitar with the 205 just to give it a nice kind of a shine and remove any small surface scratches because it doesn't have that much of an abrasive component to it. So I will do that now. I just need to change out the pad. A trick I learned from a guy, I think it was Devil and Sons Guitars. He suggested writing your compounds on the back of your pads so you don't forget which one is which. Because right now I've got two black ones I was using, one for the Ultimate compound and one for the 205. So just by writing the numbers on the back, and that way when you go to reuse them, you know which one's which, because you don't want to be mixing compounds when you're trying to polish. So pretty sure that's where I got that little tip from. So we will, and doing it by hand wasn't getting it done, so I did have to use the buffing pads, and we can get those on Amazon pretty much anywhere. Okay, I'm going to turn the mic off because I'm going to have to use the drill to use the polishing, so I'm just going to turn the mic off for a minute. So I just focused on the area where the repair was. Well, not the repair, but the polish that I did. And you usually got to do this a few times to get the nice result that you want. Yeah, I mean, if I look in the light at just the right angle, I can still see a couple of little scratch marks, but I mean, even I can't even see it from this angle, so that should be fine. I just figured I'd do it while I was giving the body a clean. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll do the same thing again, but I'll do the rest of this part here. I've already done the rest of the guitar, so I'll just finish up with this, give it a final wipe down. That's about as far as we're going to do with the polishing. I'm going to go and get some of the areas here, like on the edges I missed that have dried up a bit. I just use a little bit of water, either on a rag or just on my finger, and just to loosen that up a little bit, and then it wipes off really nice. So, so I'll finish that up, and the only other thing I wanted to show you was when I'm working inside here, this area in here, you can see that inside the horns here, what I'll do is either use the rag, or I'll take the buffing pad, and I'll just go in there with the buffing pad. It's coming through on the camera there. Like in here, just do it by hand, because these areas here, you don't want to be trying to jam your drill in there. You're never going to get it. You're just going to end up burning right through the paint. So something to keep in mind if you're new to buffing guitars. A little water on the pad also helps spread the compounds around a little easier. Just be careful, because if you spin your drill too fast when you first put all that compound and a little bit of water on there, stuff goes everywhere. What else? So I'm just going to finish the wiping off this stuff, get all the excess off. Then I'll probably give it a quick hand wax, just to, all that does is just help protect the finish a bit and brings out the shine, especially in a finish like this. It's really going to make it pop. And then next step will be get the strings on, and we'll start the setup. But that's all I have for now. Okay, the final step for the polishing will be a coat of wax. I'm using the Music Nomad guitar wax, and this just it gives a little bit of a layer of protection. It's like a car, and makes it just, especially a darker color, makes it just look really nice and deep. The reflections, the shine, everything just looks better, and it doesn't take that long. It's like everything else. You just do a little section at a time. I'm just using the rags for this, go in little circles. If you ever did this on a car, it's the same process. And then just wipe it off with a clean rag. I like the Music Nomad stuff. A lot of the stuff I use is from Music Nomad. I'm not sponsored, and I had to pay for all that stuff. It's really affordable. You can get most of it on Amazon, which is usually what I do. And yeah, it works really well. I'm quite happy with their line of products, their tools. Everything I've used of theirs, I really enjoy. That being said, there is one item I purchased a while back. I used it a couple of times on a couple of test projects I was working on. And I wasn't too happy with the results. I'll show you in a second once I finish this section here. It's what is it? It's one of their guitar polishes. So it would be used on, a guitar, like you just want to remove some of the surface stuff and just give it a nice polish and a shine. More like a day-to-day kind of a thing. And I used it, and it left this weird haze on everything. And I could not get that haze out no matter what I did. I even tried, going with a heavy cut cleaner, and no, I just couldn't get it out. I don't know what the heck was going on there, but it was no big deal. It wasn't like it was a valuable guitar or anything. I was just doing some experiments. But I'll show you. This is the stuff here. Now, I'm not knocking it. Maybe it was the finish on the guitar. I tried it on a couple others, and it was doing the same thing. So I don't use this on the guitar bodies. However, I do use it on pretty much everything else. Like, it works good on plastic. It works really well on cleaning up chrome pieces and that. It really makes them shine. It removes the grime really, really well. Um, they say you can use it for everything, but yeah, I don't use it on the bodies anymore because it's just that, like I say, that weird haze. You could see the swirl marks left by whether you use a rag or whether you used one of those buffing pads. I don't know. It was kind of strange. Um, the stuff's kind of a light gray color. I don't know if you can see that in there, but yeah, I mean, I do use it, but just not on the bodies. I got a couple other projects I'm working on where in the past, like I've taken these bridges apart, and they were all grungy, and I used this stuff to clean them, and it works really well. So I do use it, but just not on the bodies. So that's about it. I just got to finish up this other end here. I've already done the back and the sides with the wax. I just got to do this side and the horns. Oops. And this will all be done by hand. And again, because this guitar is in pretty good shape, like normally I'd be taking the pick guard off and taking everything off and doing a more thorough job. But this guitar really didn't need that much work. I'm just doing it for the video, and just, why not? You got all the strings off. Now's the time to do this kind of stuff. And I'm sure my buddy will appreciate it. I hope he appreciates it. Yeah, it just looks nice. I mean, who doesn't like playing a guitar that looks awesome, plays awesome, it feels awesome? Right on. Okay, well, you get the idea. I'm going to stop the video there. So I just got to do the horns here, give the whole thing a quick wipe down, and I think we're done cosmetic wise. I'm not going to do any polishing on the chrome because it's in really nice shape, and I did it last time. So I guess the next step will be restring it, and then we will do the setup. So that'll be in the next section.